You stare into the screen and catch your own reflection in the black glass. The version of you that keeps saying tomorrow. The room is quiet except for the soft hum of a charger and the pulse of a notification that promises nothing and steals everything. The desk is a battlefield of unfinished dreams, half-written ideas, tabs you swore you'd read, a to-do list that looks like wishful thinking. It's late again. You scroll again. You promise again. And somewhere between one more video and I'll start Monday, a scary realization crashes into you like cold water. You've been on autopilot, letting days slip by like they belong to someone else. Then, imagine it, hard cut to sunrise. The room is the same, but the light is different. Gold, clean, judgmentless. The clock blinks 4:59 a.m. Your hand reaches forward and stops the alarm before it can announce your excuses. You tie your shoes, not because you want to, but because you said you would. You open a blank page and feel your chest tighten at the emptiness. You write the first sentence anyway. You can almost hear a steel lever clank inside your life, like a switch operator moving your train from the old track of later to a new, untested track called today. That's what this moment is, you switching tracks. This isn't a story about luck. This isn't about waiting for the stars to align or the fear to disappear. This is about what you do when no one is watching. The small, honest choices, the quiet vows you keep, the discipline that feels heavy at first and liberating forever. I'm going to ask you to do the simplest, hardest thing in the world. Change in a day, not someday, not next year after you've read 12 books and perfected your morning routine. Today, because here's the truth you already know deep in your bones. Your life won't change in a year unless you change in a day. And the beautiful thing, a day is enough. One focused day can flip a pattern. One brave day can rewrite who you believe you are. One relentless day can plant a flag so deep in your identity that the old you can't drag you back. So I'm going to take you by the hand and walk you through a series of decisions that create clarity, build confidence, and ignite momentum. You'll feel your mind get quiet. You'll feel your body hold a new posture. You'll feel your hands move with purpose. By the end of this video, you will have a blueprint, a schedule, a pledge, and the first steps taken. Not tomorrow, not when life calms down, but now. And if you're willing to sit with the discomfort, to breathe through the doubt, to put one honest word on a blank page, then hear me when I say this with every ounce of certainty I have. By the end of this video, you will not just understand how to change. You will have already started. Let's begin. What's at stake is bigger than productivity tricks or another motivational high that fades the moment the music stops. What's at stake is your identity, the way you see yourself when you close your eyes, the voice you trust when it's just you and the truth. Develop yourself, and you don't just get more done, you become someone you respect. You gain a spine of discipline, a calm center of peace, and results that you can measure with your own eyes. That's the outcome, and here's the roadmap so you never feel lost. First, we upgrade identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are. Then we install habits, the small hinges that swing big doors. Next, we stack skills, so your effort compounds instead of stalling. After that, we build systems, so progress becomes the default, and failure gets friction. Finally, we create momentum, so your days start pulling you forward instead of dragging you back. This is not theory, it's a sequence. Follow it, and you'll feel the click of alignment inside you. You'll notice how decisions get lighter, distractions get quieter, and your path gets clearer. This is the episode you save, rewatch, and live. When people hear develop yourself, they often think add more tasks, wake earlier, read more books, take more courses, say yes to more obligations. But real development is deeper and more elegant. It's not piling bricks on a weak foundation. It's reinforcing the foundation so every brick you place actually holds. Being precedes doing. Who you believe you are determines how long your habits survive the weather. If your identity is the dabbler, you'll sprint for 4 days and vanish for 40. If your identity is the developer, you'll show up whether it's glamorous or not. And that consistency transforms effort into excellence. Let me show you what this looks like. There was a season when I confused hustle with progress. I stacked 14-hour days like trophies and wore my exhaustion like a badge. I was the person who always had a new plan, a new push, a new all-nighter. It looked impressive from the outside. Coffee cups, late-night screens, the grind soundtrack. But the inside told the truth. I was brittle. When a project slipped, I cracked. When a client criticized, I spiraled. Then one evening, after another heroic day that produced nothing but stress, I looked around and saw a life built on adrenaline, not alignment. So I made a quiet decision. I would stop being the hustler and become the craftsman. The craftsman doesn't chase speed. The craftsman chases quality. The craftsman shuts the laptop at a sensible hour so tomorrow can be better. The craftsman measures, refines, returns. The shift took time, but something sacred happened. The work got deeper, steadier, better. I didn't need more tasks. I needed a stronger identity. Be who your habits need. If you feel stuck right now, there are probably silent drains leaking your energy before the day even begins. The first is distraction addiction. It happens in slices, not chunks. You sit to work and think, let me just check for 30 seconds. A reel, a text, a headline, a quick scroll. Each slice is harmless. The loaf is your day. I remember one morning when I planned to write for an hour. I opened the doc, then just checked a message. The next time I looked up, 47 minutes had evaporated. I had a handful of interesting facts and 0 words written. One slice at a time, the loaf was gone. The second drain is unclear standards. It's hard to win a game with no score. Vague goals breed vague actions, and vague actions breed vague results. You tell yourself you'll be productive, Wasil, but what does that mean by 5 p.m.? How will you know you did your job? Without a standard, your brain can't lock in. It flinches at every shiny thing because nothing is obviously more important than anything else. The third drain is a weak environment, a cluttered desk that whispers procrastination, a bed within reach of your laptop that hums, "Come back." Apps arranged like candy on your home screen. We think we're making choices, but in reality, our spaces are making them first. If your room is one big cue to delay, your willpower is already losing before you start. The fourth drain is the absence of a feedback loop. You repeat the same week 10 times and call it experience. You grind, but you don't learn. You ship, but you don't review. Without feedback, you can't course correct. It's like running on a treadmill while staring at a wall. Plenty of sweat, no new scenery. The fifth drain is inconsistent sleep and energy. We treat sleep like an optional upgrade when it's the operating system. You try to build skyscraper days on a cracked foundation of 4 hours and caffeine. You can't out-discipline biology. Your best self lives on the other side of predictable rest. These drains feel small on their own, but together they're like a slow leak in a boat. Imperceptible at first, then suddenly you're waist deep and wondering why rowing got so hard. The fix starts where all real change starts. Not with a prettier to-do list, but with a truer identity. The moment you choose who you are, your actions finally have a home to live in. So let's give you a new name. Not the procrastinator trying to be better. Not the motivated for a week version. Choose an identity that carries weight and integrity. Maybe you become the athlete of life, the person who trains daily, tracks their reps, and respects recovery. Maybe you choose the craftsman, the person who shows up to the bench every day, cares about quality, and signs their work with pride. Maybe you become the builder, the person who lays one brick straight and true and trusts the wall to rise. Whatever you choose, own it out loud. Identities have signatures, and yours will be simple and visible. You show up daily, even when it's unsexy. You measure what matters. You refine instead of restart. You protect your focus like it's sacred. You end your day with a small review so tomorrow gets smarter. Let these behaviors be your uniform. Say this with me, slowly, like you're carving it into something that lasts. I am the kind of person who shows up. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am the kind of person who trains my mind, guards my focus, and honors my word. This isn't a slogan, it's a mirror. Read it and either nod or adjust. Identity first, actions follow. Now we install keystone habits, the smallest hinges that swing the biggest doors. Start with sleep, not a perfect routine, just a predictable one. Pick a bedtime that protects 7 to 8 hours and defend it like a meeting with your future. 30 minutes before lights out, dim your screens and set tomorrow's stage. Lay out your clothes, place your phone in another room, open the page you'll write on or the plan you'll follow. This isn't rigidity, it's kindness to the version of you who wakes up foggy and searching for reasons to quit. Next, carve a daily deep work block, 30 to 45 minutes at first, which sounds small until you actually do it. One block where the door's closed, notifications are off, and only one task exists. You'll be shocked by how much you can move the needle when your mind is a laser instead of a lantern. Use a physical timer if you have to. When it starts, you start. When it stops, you stop. Build trust with yourself at the level of minutes, and the hours will come. Then practice reflection. 10 minutes to process your day. Write 3 lines. What went right? What taught me something? What I'll do next. Wins, lessons, next action. That's it. No paragraphs required. This small ritual stops you from living the same week on repeat. It turns busy into better. Finally, set a daily output target. Not a marathon, a rep. If you're a writer, 300 honest words. If you're a creator, 1 micro edit or 1 published clip. If you're in sales, 1 meaningful outreach. If you're training, 1 focused session. Keep it clear, keep it countable, and this matters, keep it small enough that you can't lie to yourself about why you didn't do it. Small wins, relentlessly repeated, become giant leaps. Let's talk skill stacking, because motivation without competence is a loud car with no engine. Choose 1 core skill that, if mastered, would raise the ceiling of your entire life. Speaking, writing, coding, design, sales, coaching, music, athletics, whatever fits your path. Then choose 2 complementary skills that amplify the core. If your core is speaking, your complements might be writing and editing. If your core is design, your complements might be storytelling and client communication. This trio becomes your edge. You're not just a designer. You're a designer who can tell a story and sell a vision. You're not just a speaker. You're a speaker who writes clearly and edits powerfully. That's rare. Rare is valuable. Now define a 90-day skill sprint. 90 days is long enough to change who you are and short enough to see the finish line. Pick a simple goal you can't fake. Deliver a 5-minute talk to a real audience, publish 12 essays, ship 1 small app, design 3 case study projects with feedback from a pro. Then break the sprint into weekly practice plans. Monday, deliberate drills on fundamentals. Midweek, build something small that stretches you. End of week, review the tape, literally or figuratively. What worked? What fell apart under pressure? What will you change next week? Keep a simple log. Watch the dots connect. Here's a case study. A creator I know was average at everything and great at nothing. He decided his core would be on-camera storytelling. He added writing as a complement to structure ideas and editing as a complement to tighten them. For his 90-day sprint, he committed to 24 short stories, published twice a week. He built a tiny set of drills, 1 day practicing hooks for 15 minutes, 1 day writing a clean outline, 1 day recording 3 takes in under 30 minutes, 1 day editing down to the bone. Every Sunday he reviewed which hook kept attention, which cuts dragged, what did commenters highlight. In 90 days, his videos didn't just look better, they felt inevitable. Opportunities found him because he had finally found his edge. Progress loves protection, which is why deep work and dopamine discipline matter more than you think. Before your block, run a simple pre-flight. Put your phone in another room, literally. Close every tab except the one you need. Set your intention in 1 line on paper. For the next 45 minutes, I will write the first draft of Section 3. Put on the same playlist every time. Let it become a Pavlovian switch. During the block, keep 1 rule: single tasking. If a new idea pops up, capture it on a sticky note and return. If you drift, notice it without judgment. Take 1 slow breath and bring your eyes back to the line in front of you. When the timer ends, stand up, step away, and let your brain breathe. If your attention collapses mid-block, use a reset protocol. Inhale through your nose for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Roll your shoulders. Take 10 deliberate steps. Return. Protect the block like a vault. Your future is being built inside it. Goals set direction, systems create progress. Most people worship goals and neglect systems, which is why they feel motivational highs and operational lows. Turn your goals into behaviors that fire with minimal friction. If your goal is to get fit, your system is placing your shoes by the door, your workout cued, your water bottle filled, and your alarm placed across the room. If your goal is to write a book, your system is a daily 30-minute block at the same time, a bare-bones outline visible, and a no internet until done rule. Design your environment so good decisions are easier than bad ones. Put your guitar on a stand in the living room so it whispers, play. Set your office to default to full screen mode. Move social apps off your home screen. Make failure inconvenient by raising the friction. Make success convenient by lowering it. Tonight, give your future self a gift. Lay out tomorrow's first step where you can't miss it. You don't need a crowd to grow. You need the right few. Build a 3-person board of advisors for your life. A role model you can observe and learn from, a peer who's in the trenches with you, and an honest critic who loves you enough to tell you the truth. Keep it simple. Reach out once a week with a short update and a question. For accountability, form a tiny pod. 2 or 3 people who meet at the same time every week for 30 minutes. Share last week's commitments, this week's targets, and 1 lesson. Ask better questions and you'll get better feedback. Try. When you watch this, where does your attention drop and why? Or, if you were me and had to improve one thing before tomorrow, what would it be? Specific, measurable, timely. You'll be amazed how fast you evolve when someone is waiting to hear what you learned. Let's rewire your relationship with failure, because if you develop yourself properly, you will fail more, not less. That's not a threat, that's a sign you're alive. Separate who you are from what you made. Your work is a product, you are a person. A rejection letter is data, not a verdict. I remember a pitch I believed in with my whole chest. I prepared for weeks, rehearsed until the words felt like muscle memory, and delivered with everything I had. The answer came back fast. No, it stung. I wanted to hide. Instead, I ran a simple post-mortem. What happened specifically? I'd aimed the story at emotion and skipped some numbers they cared about. What was under my control? My prep could have included a mock Q&A on metrics. What will I try next? Build a short data appendix into future pitches and practice handling pushback. The next opportunity came 2 months later. Same message, tighter delivery, better evidence. This time, yes. The difference wasn't luck, it was learning. After a miss, apply the next 10 reps rule. Don't wallow. Do 10 more attempts, 10 more drafts, 10 more swing-throughs. Train your nervous system to associate setbacks with action. We're going to convert all of this into a 30-day action plan you can start today. Choose one identity statement that you will live out loud. I am the athlete of life who trains daily, or I am the craftsman who shows up to the bench, or write your own. Choose one skill sprint for the next 90 days, but for this month, commit to its first 30. Choose 4 keystone habits: predictable sleep, 1 daily deep work block, 10-minute reflection, and a daily output rep. Now sketch a sample day that fits your reality. Wake, hydrate, move your body for 10 minutes to signal, we're on. Sit for your deep work block before the world can interrupt, then handle the rest of your responsibilities knowing the most important thing is already done. In the afternoon, do a short practice on your complementary skill. In the evening, close the loop with reflection, then stage tomorrow before you sleep. Keep a simple habit grid where you mark an X for each habit completed. Not perfection, presence. At the end of each week, answer 3 questions in plain language. What moved forward, what got in the way, and what will I adjust? If you miss a day, that's human. If you miss 2, that's a pattern. Forgive the first, fix the second. Before we lock your plan, I want to anchor your identity with emotion. Close your eyes for a moment and picture your future self walking toward you. Not a fantasy version, a real one. The posture is straighter, the eyes are calmer, the schedule is the same, but the way they hold it is different, lighter, cleaner, stronger. They sit at the same desk and breathe, then begin. They train even when it's raining. They say no to noise because they said yes to a mission. They look at you with recognition, like someone who knows the quiet battles you fight, and they smile, not because you've arrived, but because you finally turned your face in the right direction and took a step. Hear them speak one line, firm and kind. Keep the promise today, and I'll meet you sooner than you think. Breathe that in. When you open your eyes, write a 1-sentence pledge that you will say out loud every morning for the next 30 days. Make it present tense. Make it simple enough to remember when you're tired. Something like, today I train my mind, protect my focus, and honor my word. Say it now. Feel it settle. Let this sentence become your North Star. We're nearly at the end, and this is where the music rises and your resolve hardens. Remember the heart of this entire journey in one breath. Develop yourself daily, not in a burst, in a rhythm, not because you hate who you are, because you love who you're becoming. If this moved you, if something inside you clicked even a little, seal it with action. Like this video so the algorithm doesn't hide it from the next person who needs it. Comment your pledge, word for word, so your future self has proof you began. Share it with one person you care about and invite them into your 30-day plan. Subscribe, because for the next month, I'm going to walk beside you with daily check-ins, deep dives, and reminders that keep your train on the right track. And when you finish today's block and put that first X on the grid, I want you to hear this line echo in your chest like a drum you march to. I do not wait for a new year. I become a new me today. Now, tie your shoes, open the page, set the timer, breathe once, begin. And because you're still here, because something in you said, don't stop, I want to give you what most people never get when they try to change. The truth about the second sunrise. The first sunrise is the moment you start, the dramatic switch, the timer, the blank page finally marked with ink. The second sunrise is the day after the high dissolves. No playlist can rescue you. No quote lands. The bed is magnetic. Your brain whispers deals, skip today and double tomorrow. That is the moment most stories end, but not yours. Not if you decide that the second sunrise matters more than the first. It's the day you prove you're not chasing a mood, you're building a life. When the glow is gone, your identity takes the wheel. You say the sentence anyway. You set the timer anyway. You keep the promise anyway. And afterwards, when the timer beeps and your brain realizes you did the thing without the feeling, something powerful locks into place. You become the kind of person who moves first and lets motivation catch up. There will be a week, usually around days 7 to 10, when the initial rush fades and your mind tries old tricks in new clothes. It will sound rational, even kind. You've earned a break. Be realistic. What's one day? This is the wall week. It's predictable. Expect it. Name it. When it arrives, switch to your minimum viable promise. Not an hour, 15 minutes. Not a chapter, 1 page. Not a full workout, 10 focused minutes. Shrink the target so small, your excuses can't see it. This is not lowering your standards. It's widening your runway. Momentum loves completion. A small, honest win beats a grand imaginary one every day of the week. And when the wall week passes, you'll notice something subtle. A quiet confidence in the way you pick up a pen or lace a shoe. That's what we're after. The bone-deep belief that you can count on you. The most dangerous person alive is not the most talented. It's the one who trusts their own word. Self-trust is the ultimate performance enhancer. Let's rewrite the voice in your head, because your inner narrator is the architect of your actions. If your self-talk is a prosecutor, your days feel like a trial. If your self-talk is a coach, your days feel like training. Catch the old script, I'm lazy, I always mess up, I just can't focus. Those aren't facts, they're habits of thought. Replace them with identity-linked cues. Because I am the craftsman, I start with one clean line. Because I am the athlete of life, I warm up for 10 minutes, even when I don't feel like it. Because I am the builder, I lay 1 brick straight today. The brain loves because. It relieves friction. It gives a reason to the body. And when your reasons are anchored in who you are, not what you wish you were, your actions stick. You will be tempted to complicate this, to collect apps and dashboards and trackers until your life looks like a cockpit. Resist. Development thrives on clarity, not clutter. You don't need 20 tools, you need 2 or 3 that you actually use. A timer, a notebook, a calm space. Treat your desk like a dojo, clean, intentional, free of friction. Put a small reset station within reach, a glass of water, a sticky note stack, a pen that feels good, maybe a tiny token that reminds you who you're becoming. When distraction knocks, you don't have to debate, you have a ritual. Sip, breathe, note the thought, return. For your skill sprint, here's an advanced move that separates dabblers from developers. Break your practice into 3 layers: precision, pressure, and performance. Precision is drills, boring, focused, necessary. If you're a speaker, that's 10 minutes on openings. If you're a writer, that's a page of clean, specific sentences. If you're a designer, that's recreating a reference layout pixel by pixel. Pressure is timed constraints. 30 minutes to create a usable draft. 1 take to land a message. 5 color choices to force clarity. Performance is real-world shipping. Publish the clip, send the pitch, show the piece. Precision builds skill. Pressure builds poise. Performance builds courage. Rotate all 3 each week so your growth doesn't stall at competence or collapse under stage lights. Use the 3i3 method when your week gets noisy. Choose 3 inputs you'll study deeply: a book chapter, a prose breakdown, a masterclass segment, and create 3 outputs: a draft, a recording, a micro project, that apply those inputs immediately. No hoarding, no "I'll implement later." Learning without output is intellectual snacking. It feels good and changes nothing. Output is how you tell your brain, this matters. Let's build your energy architecture without turning your life into a laboratory. Simple, human, sustainable. Hydrate early so your brain stops confusing thirst for fatigue. Move your body for 10 honest minutes to flush the sleep and signal, we're on. Feed yourself in a way that leaves you steady, not spiking and crashing. None of this has to be perfect. It just has to be predictable. Protect the anchors. A small morning walk can be the difference between a day that drifts and a day that drives. A consistent bedtime can be the difference between reactivity and leadership. Recovery is not retreat. Recovery is strategy. Now let's talk about proof. Evidence you can see and touch. Create a breadcrumb trail your future self can't argue with. A wall calendar with X's that stack into a chain. A momentum jar, where every day you drop a paper scrap with 1 line: today's promise kept was dope deeks wampampa wampampan antwa. When you feel like you're going nowhere, pour them out on the table. Let your eyes measure what your doubt can't feel. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do with 100 receipts of consistency. You are not chasing a glow, you are stacking proof. At some point you'll hit the dip, not exhaustion, that's handled by sleep, not boredom. That's solved by skill stacking. The dip is the stretch between I'm improving and anyone can see it. It's the silent hallway where claps are rare and your progress hides under the surface like roots thickening before a tree shoots higher. This is where people pivot, rebrand, jump ship. Don't plant your feet. Remember why you chose your trio of skills. Return to precision, pressure, performance. And if your mind asks, is this even working? Tell it, that's not my job. My job is to become a person who shows up. Results follow reliability. There's also a plateau that arrives like an empty sky. You're consistent, your outputs are fine, but growth slows. Good. Plateaus are classrooms in disguise. Use them for experimentation at the edges. Change your practice constraints. Ask a better critic for harsher feedback. Try a different medium for 1 week. Often it's not that you're done learning, it's that you're repeating the same learning loop. Shift the loop, make the game interesting again without abandoning the field. Boredom isn't a sign to quit, it's a signal to refine. You need an identity contract. Short, sharp, written by your own hand, posted where you have to see it when you forget. It sounds like this: I am the athlete of life who trains daily, even when it rains. Or, I am the craftsman who produces one honest page, even when the world is loud. Or, I am the builder who lays one brick straight, even when no one claps. Notice the even when. That's where most identities collapse, in the conditional. You will not. You will plan for the rain and move anyway. Write it, sign it, live it. Your evenings will decide your mornings. Close your day with a 3-breath ritual. Breath 1, release. Exhale the day's static like fog leaving a window. Breath 2, recognition. Name one thing you did well in clear language. Breath 3, recommitment. Whisper your identity and tomorrow's first move. Then, on paper, write 3 lines. Wins, lessons, next action. Leave the notebook open on your desk. Lay out your tools. Put your phone to bed outside your room like it's a toddler who needs boundaries. Sleep is not the enemy of ambition. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen because someone well-rested made one right decision at 9 a.m. instead of 6 mediocre ones at midnight. What about off days? They're not accidents, they're part of the plan. Off days are on purpose, engineered recovery so your long run doesn't end in month 2. The rule is simple: rest from intensity, not from identity. On your rest day, you might not do a deep work block, but you still keep your smallest promise. A 2-minute review, a single skill drill, a quick stretch. This is not obsession, it's continuity. It tells your brain that identity isn't a costume you wear for work, it's your skin. There will be crisis days too. A deadline explodes, a child gets sick, a bill surprises you. On those days, shrink your promise even further. 1 line written, 1 outreach sent, 1 minute of breath and posture. If you can't do your normal timer, do a 120-second micro block and count it. Your goal is not performance, it's keeping the thread unbroken. Think of your development like a kite on a windy day. The storm can yank it, twist it, smash it, but as long as you keep your hand on the string, the sky clears and you're still connected. Now let's walk through 3 versions of your day because life isn't a copy-paste. There's the ideal day, the normal day, and the messy day. On the ideal day, you wake when you said you would, move, hydrate, run your deep work block first, then handle life. On the normal day, you slide the block to a later slot, but protect it with the same ferocity. On the messy day, you dispatch a micro block and a micro output while the world spins. Then you forgive yourself quickly and go take care of life. The win condition is not perfection, it's presence. Did you show up as the kind of person you said you are? If yes, you're winning, even if all you have to show is a tiny X on the grid. If travel throws you off, pre-plan your go bag, your timer, your notebook, a pen, noise-canceling headphones, and a printed copy of your pledge. When everyone else is doom scrolling at the gate, you can create a 2-page outline, record a voice memo draft, or run a short edit pass. If family gatherings stretch long, find a quiet corner after dinner and write 3 sentences in your notebook. You're not hiding, you're honoring your word. If work erupts with meetings, protect 10 minutes right before lunch or right after. You'll be shocked how much identity strength you can build on 10-minute bricks laid without fail. Let's return to deep work with a nuance most people miss. You don't have to love the first 5 minutes. The first 5 are the toll. Friction, fidgeting, the urge to clean your inbox, expect it. Pay the toll, start moving your hands. The 6th minute belongs to you. And if you ever find yourself staring at the wall, run the reset protocol without judgment. 1 breath, 1 stretch, 1 sentence. Where does my attention belong? Then place it there. That simple act, placing attention on purpose, is a legitimate rep in the gym of your mind. Every rep counts. When you ask for feedback, remember this: praise is pleasant, precision is priceless. Teach your people how to help you. Say, please ignore what you liked. Tell me exactly where you felt lost, bored, or unconvinced, and why. Then say, thank you like they handed you gold. Because they did. You don't need compliments to grow, you need coordinates. And you'll build a reputation for being coachable, which attracts mentors who only invest in people who listen. One more story, because stories sneak past defenses logic can't touch. A runner I know decided to train for a distance that terrified him. He pictured sunrise runs with cinematic fog and personal anthems. The first week was misery. No fog, no anthems, just lungs that burned and legs that pleaded. On day 9, the wall, he considered quitting. Instead, he changed the rules. He committed to shoes on, out the door, no matter how far he went. Some days he ran a mile. Some days he ran 3 steps and laughed at himself in the dark, turned around and went home. But he never broke the rule. A month later, he looked up mid-run and realized the streetlights were passing him slower than before. He was faster. He hadn't noticed. Growth had been whispering the whole time. He kept going, not because running got easier, but because he got sturdier. When race day came, he finished, not with fireworks, but with tears that tasted like relief. He hadn't proved he was special. He'd proved he was faithful. That's the point. Be faithful, and your life will become powerful. If comparison steals your peace, starve it. Mute the feeds that turn your focus into a spectator sport. Replace them with a tighter circle and a more honest mirror. You don't need to know how everyone else is doing. You need to know what you will do next. Every time you feel the itch to compare, answer a simpler question. What is my next smallest promise? Then do it. The itch fades. Your power returns. As your 30-day plan unfolds, you'll notice micro wins that compound in surprising ways. You'll find yourself standing a little taller in casual conversations because you know you did what you said in private. You'll feel less rattled when someone criticizes your work because you have a review habit that translates criticism into adjustments. You'll be less desperate for outcomes and more devoted to the process. Paradoxically, that's when outcomes chase you. The universe loves a person who's not frantic. There will be moments when you want to renegotiate with yourself. You'll try to move your promises to a softer, vaguer place. Don't. Keep the edges sharp. Keep the words simple. I write 300 honest words. I train for 10 minutes. I sit for a 45-minute block. The clearer the promise, the quieter the anxiety. Ambiguity breeds dread. Clarity breeds calm. Calm is a superpower. Here's a mental model you can carry like a coin in your pocket: the gate and the garden. The gate is your threshold behavior, the small act that opens the day's practice. The garden is the practice itself, deep, quiet, nourishing. Don't stand staring at the garden wishing to be inside. Go to the gate. What is your gate? It might be opening the document. It might be putting your phone in the drawer. It might be writing your single sentence intention. Once you're through the gate, you'll find the garden welcomes you more often than you expect. If you ever feel like you're too late, hear me carefully. You are not behind, you are on the day you're on. Regret is a story about yesterday that steals today. Let it go. Do not waste another sunrise arguing with a past you cannot edit. Place your hands on the steering wheel of this moment. Switch tracks. The rails you lay now will be the tracks your future glides on with ease. Your life is not a maze. It's a set of choices that get simpler when your identity gets stronger. When your circle doesn't understand your changes, love them anyway. You don't have to explain your new quiet or your early bedtime to anyone. You don't owe every friend a front row seat to your transformation. Protect your mornings. Protect your mission. Be kind, be steady, be boring in all the best ways. Excellence is usually quiet. The loudest thing about you doesn't need to be your announcement. Let it be your consistency. And yes, there will be extraordinary days. Days when you write beyond your target, when your practice flows, when you feel that click of inevitability. Celebrate briefly, then return to the rhythm that got you there. Big wins are not a cue to sprint off the map. They're an invitation to double down on the fundamentals. Let success make you simpler, not busier. On days when fear arrives dressed as perfectionism, this isn't good enough to share, remember your promise. You didn't promise to be perfect, you promised to be present. Publish the draft that is honest. Ship the version that is ready enough to learn from. Iterate in public. You will not die from feedback. You will grow from it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the priority you choose in spite of it. If your mind keeps asking, how long will this take? Answer with a smile, as long as it takes to become me. That's not deflection. That's devotion. You don't rush a tree into fruit. You water and wait and trust the design. Your design is sound. Your job is to feed it with attention and repeat the right behaviors long enough for the results to look obvious. And when the results do arrive, they will feel suspiciously ordinary, like a room you've been building for months and suddenly notice you're standing inside. Let's revisit your pledge, because repetition is the mother of identity. Say it slower today. Feel each word like a weight you lift with care. Today I train my mind, protect my focus, and honor my word. Again, today I train my mind, protect my focus, and honor my word. One more. Today I train my mind, protect my focus, and honor my word. That sentence is not magic, but what it triggers is, it cues the behaviors, it calms the noise, it sets a tone your day can hear. And if you need one more push, borrow mine. I believe in the version of you who doesn't need a perfect plan, just a faithful step. I believe in the version of you who can be both gentle and relentless. Gentle with mistakes, relentless with promises. I believe in the version of you who can carry pressure with grace, because your identity is heavier than your fear. Don't wait for the world to recognize that person before you act like them. Act like them now. The recognition comes after. Before we close, picture the montage of your next 30 days. Not a fantasy, real